You're now tuning in to the Ambitious Views podcast, where we share unique perspectives on storytelling within film and television from the past, present, and future. We're here for a good time, not a long time, so let's get to it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blaze Giving Me a Hard Time in the Ambitious Views podcast. I'm your host, Corrigan, and this is my great co-host.
What's up? It's Blaze.
Woo woo. You doing all right today, Blaze?
I am good. Work was fine. Ready to talk about, what we got on the agenda. We already had like a pre-episode.
Yeah, man.
So I'm pumped now.
yeah. I don't know, man. If y'all keep on showing us love, we might have to finally do a Patreon or something so we can have some exclusive conversations about projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say publicly, So, but yeah, man, I'm excited today, y'all. We are talking about our experience of watching Project Greenlight and, in hindsight, Gray Matter, which is the project that was being produced during the legendary Project Greenlight show on HBO. And then we're going to finish up. We're talking about They Clone Tyrone, which I feel like I've been waiting 2 years for it to come out. So I'm excited to finally be talking about it and getting on into it. So as you all know, before we get on into it, and it's crazy, Blaze, I don't know if it's just you or is it just me, but I feel like it's been 3 weeks since we recorded, but I don't know why I feel like it's been so long. Does it feel long to you?
It feels a little long, but it hasn't been that long. We're just 1 week.
Yeah, just 1 week, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe, possibly. So we took a week off. That's what it was, Blaze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. That's why. Okay, dope. Well, we on our 18th episode, so we appreciate y'all supporting us. We almost at number 20, so really excited. But Blaze,
what's up?
What is your this or that for me this week that I feel like it's gonna be kind of weak because I'm about that life. Yeah, you heard me.
Anywho, so since we did look at Project Greenlight,
Yes.
and my partner here, Corrigan, is a creator. He's a director himself, working on a nice little TV show right now. Just a little plug.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
about this or that, it's kind of geared towards that director mind frame of yours. Ooh. So
nervous now. I take back what I said.
Oh wow. So it's an announcement. They doing another season of Project Greenlight. This time they doing Black Male. And the project that they're gonna do is either a horror movie or a remake. If you were selected as the winner, Corrigan, which one would you rather do?
Dang, that's kind of tough because on one end, a remake, you're already gonna get looked at crazy because you're part of a project that you did not know you was gonna be signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to reach the expectations of those who are fans of whatever is being remade. So that pressure. And then on the flip side, I feel like there's a true art to thrillers that slash scary films or whatever like that, or horror films. But at the same time, I feel like with the right crew, you can definitely pull it off. It's just a tough part about it is that am I not going to be too afraid to even finish it? Pretty much. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, like is the set going to be too scary for me to show up to? Can I zoom in?
No, you gotta be there, sir.
Can I be at the director's seat outside in the sunlight while y'all in the dark?
No, it don't work like that.
There are multiple things that goes into this to where I would need to mentally feel safe to get through this. Okay. So, with that being said, I'm just going to have to choose the remake and let people come for me. and lean on my good mentors that helped me through that process and my research to be able to get it done. Cause I ain't gonna lie, y'all, like my imagination is very strong. Um, and sometimes like the scary movies that just are okay to y'all or are just horrifying to me. And I publicly say that, okay?
Bless your
Uh,
heart.
Blaze, stop looking like that. You're bullying with your facial expressions, okay? Yes, I can be a scary cat. Partially, I blame my wife for making me go through that horrible experience of watching Haunted Hill House and stuff like that. So if you have seen it, then you know that that's probably one of the most scariest things that's ever been produced.
Oh
Um,
wow.
yes, to me, to me,
I
it's the
mean, I've heard from other people who more or aren't as scared of you as you are. Say it's also scary.
it's up there, but it's like the weirdest thing. It's not like jump scary or even creepy in a sense. It's just depressing to me. I
Oh
don't know
no.
what sense that makes, but it's kind of depressing to me. But anyway, yeah, I would definitely take their remake for $1, please, because I don't think I could do the scary stuff.
Do you know what you would want to remake if you had a choice?
I would remake Lean on Me.
Lean on me. Why?
Because I feel like it's very, even though Lean on Me was what it was when it was produced, I do feel like it's very relevant to show that a lot of things in different aspects have still not changed in a lot of major cities, especially when it comes to the educational system. And I feel like there's a story there when it comes to, charter schools and how that is going about. And then on top of that, especially with different things that they're trying to take out of the educational system and stuff like that, I do feel like there could be a very unique story, within that. And I've also, if y'all steal my little story, then oh well. But I will say one thing that did come to mind was that what if it was like a limited series about Lean on Me, where like those who were in school then, their kids are going to school now, and just what has happened since then. And also again going back to the themes that's going on now. Um,
Oh, that would be good. Because you want to
yeah,
know what? That school will be closed down and
oh
it would
yeah.
have been a charter school.
Hmm.
And we need to talk about that because I got a problem with charter schools.
There you go.
Yeah, I got a problem. That's why I'm happy Abbott Elementary, when they targeted, or not targeted, but when they talked about charter schools, they didn't try to make it look like it's a good thing. Like they exposed the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So I think off the top of my dome, that's something that I would remake, and something I feel like when it's compared to that type of show and that budget, that I feel like is possible. Now, Morgan Freeman may not be able to do nothing but a voiceover because they don't tell how much he will charge. But
Yeah, he gonna be the budget. He gonna be the budget.
a whole like if you say one paragraph, we only gonna have $50,000 left over.
Mm-hmm.
That's for food.
Make it happen.
But yeah, yeah. That's something that has came to mind. I'm glad you asked that. I might actually play around with that after I work on a couple other things. So, but yeah, yep. So, good. This or that, Sister Blaze. Yeah. What's on that watch list? What you been watching?
I already mentioned I watched Project Greenlight. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about they clone Tyrone, so I watched that as well. Um, Recently, Netflix dropped a new series titled "Survival of the Thickest," which stars Michelle. I don't really know how to say her last name.
Mm-hmm.
And Tasha Smith is also in it. Garcelle from the Jamie Foxx show is in it.
Okay.
It's a television show. It's about, the main character's name is Mavis, and she basically kind of has to start her life over. She finds her boyfriend of like 5 years cheating, and so she pretty much starts her life over. And so we see her journey of starting her life over. And it's a really good show. It's funny. It's produced by A24.
Oh,
Um, and it's kind of, I think it's inspired by, because Michelle has a memoir that's titled Survival of the Thickest. And so I assume that it's inspired by that.
mhm.
um, but she's not playing herself. Like I said, the main character's name is Mavis. But it's a pretty good show. I think it was like 8 episodes or 10 episodes. It's like a comedy show. I want to say maybe 30 minutes, but it's a really good show if you like stuff. Like if you enjoy, what was that one movie? Someone Great. If you enjoy Insecure, if you enjoy Harlem,
Mhm.
things like that, you're gonna enjoy this. It's like a different spill or take on those type of situations of like different friend groups, a different type of main cast, because she is a plus size black woman. And so, but they don't like just focus on like, oh, she's plus size, so da 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 da. It's like she just living her life, you know. And so
That's
it's just dope to see the casting be so diverse, essentially.
okay. Dope. 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 Um,
And were you about to ask something about it?
yeah, so I was gonna say, and for those of you who are trying to work, think about individuals who are part of it, the same host that's really great for the circle
Oh
is
yeah.
in this, and stuff like that. So that's cool. So, tell us about Heels. I see Heels is on there too.
Oh yeah. So Heels is a show, and by the way, yeah, Heels is on Stars, and they're about to have their second season drop July 28th. And so if I have time, it's July 26th. But if I have time, I'm gonna probably rewatch the first season. But basically, Heels is about these two brothers who own a small professional wrestling company in their small Georgia town. They took it over after their father passed away, but everybody in their family still kind of dealing with the trauma of the father dying, but like also trying to live their life. And like the business isn't doing so well because it is a real small wrestling promotion. And the brothers that took it over, one is a heel. And so if you're not familiar with professional wrestling, the heel is like the villain, the bad guy. And then the other brother is the face. So he's like the hero. And so that kind of crosses over into their real life, and how they interact with each other, how they feel about each other and things that have happened in their life and their childhood. And so it's really interesting to watch a show about these people who wrestle, they play these characters, but then see who they are outside of those characters.
Mm,
And so
very
season two,
interesting.
like I said, starts the 28th.
Mhm.
If you know who CM Punk is, he has done a few episodes, and his wife and former WWE Women's Champion AJ Lee, she's going to be in the second season, which is massive because she hasn't wrestled in years. And
Hmm.
so to see her do something, even if it's just acting, that's pretty cool. Stephen Amell, I want to say, was Stephen Amell? Yeah, he was the one that was in Arrow. He's a lead, and Alexander Ludwig from Vikings and The Hunger Games is also in it.
Wow, I had never heard about that. That sounds pretty dang cool.
Oh, yeah, it's really good. It's a drama. It's but it also has like some funny elements as well. It's really good.
Yeah, that's what I love about dramas. Like, I think sometimes people automatically think about something sappy or whatever like that, but that's what I love about dramas because literally it can have all of the different type of elements within it to a certain degree. I think the only thing that sometimes may be a little bit too dominant to include is like a thriller aspect to a certain degree, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I love about dramas. But that's dope. We finished up Atlanta. I don't know if I mentioned that last time we talked.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you said the last time we talked, y'all just finished up the Soldier Boy episode, so y'all are done.
Yeah, yeah. We finally.
You finally saw that episode I was talking about. The goof, the one about the guy, the black guy in Disney.
Yes. Why Audrey thought that was real?
I thought it was real too.
I think because let me take it back. I guess I kind of had a cheat moment because you had kind of brought it up. So I was already prepared to be in the same mindset as Swarm, that one episode. But no, I mean, they did a really good job with that episode. I will say that one, the one when uh Paperboy was, living out in the country, that episode cranked that, and maybe one more was pretty good, but I would think overall I think I like season 3 more than season 4 to me.
The
when
one when they were in overseas.
Yeah, I think I like
I
that.
did not like that season at all.
Really?
No,
I think both of
I
us
did
like.
not enjoy it.
Yeah, very interesting ending, but I know they was trying to finish up at an awkward time with pandemic going on and stuff. So, but cool. But yeah, like, so we finally finished that, and then like Blake said, spent some time watching Project Greenlight, which we'll talk about that a little bit more, along with Gray Matter. And the other thing that we've been watching, which I almost wonder if the new episode dropped today. I have to look and see. Secret Invasion is currently it's a Marvel series that stars
Jackson.
Samuel Jackson, but what is his name? Wow, I cannot believe his name just escaped me. Oh, what? Nick Fury. Doggone it. Duh, Corrigan. So yeah, like, so it's mainly focusing on Nick Fury's experience dealing with the Skrulls, who have basically, after a little bit over 20 years ago when we first saw them in Captain Marvel, they are all back on planet Earth and they've been hiding. And basically what is going on is that you have one big side of the Skrulls that are living on Earth who are unifying to basically take over the planet, essentially. And I will say, I didn't think that there was going to be another big bad close to why am I forgetting names? What is Jonathan Majors' character?
Kang.
Kang. I didn't think anybody would be close to Kang or even the more, but Homeboy in this, I forgot his name. He does not play at all. No, not at all. And I want to say, matter of fact, dang, I wonder are we cousins? Because his last never mind. But Gravik is the villain of this, and I will put him in between Namor and Kang, just because I know what Kang is capable of. But if Kang had the audacity of this man, or grows to have the audacity of this man, then we are in for a show. So, but anyway, really good. I assume there's only gonna be 6 episodes, and like I said, I'm gonna check to see after I get off the day if the new episode dropped today, because we've been kind of off and on binge, and we watched 2 or 3 in a row, stopped, and then watched 2 or 3 not too long ago, like a couple days ago. I think Monday actually. So, but anyway, so we'll watch that. So, but yeah, so Blaze, I know sometimes you like to wait to the last minute with your Marvel things, but I highly recommend that you watch this, just because definitely keep in mind that Skrulls can be anybody, and things have definitely happened that I didn't think they was gonna go that far with this show, and they definitely have went that far. Yes, people die. People die. So, but anyway, let's get on to this real take.
Come
So
on,
first
real
off,
quick.
we're going to be talking about Project Greenlight and Great Matter for just a tad bit, nothing too deep, and stuff like that. But then mainly we're going to be jumping on into They Clone Tyrone. And so Blaze, this is my second time watching an season of Project Greenlight, but I'm very interested to know about your experience as just more so just a writer slash educator. Of course, you'd be around me. We talk about film stuff, but what was your experience like seeing this side of things, like how things work, and taking care of and all this stuff like that? Like, how was your experience watching Project Greenlight?
Oh, I love that. I love that they have created a show where you really get to see the behind the scenes elements of how movies are created. I think it's cool for movie lovers, TV lovers, but also, people who want to get into that business, because if you're from like a small town, or if you're just not from or close to places like LA or New York and stuff, or Atlanta even, you don't it's hard for you to like find mentors or find people who can teach you those things. And so to have a show like that was really dope. But to see like what the director does, what a producer does, um, the writing aspect, the filming aspect, the casting, the learning about a pre-table like I knew about a table read. I didn't know they did pre-table reading, but like that's
Yeah.
an amazing reason to do a pre-table reading, before the big people get in there. Let's get prepared. I learning that was really cool. Just all the really small behind the scenes stuff was fascinating to learn for me. And then I like little elements where like they kind of took the time to teach people and educate people. Like they didn't do it in a way where, oh, everybody that's watching this knows exactly what we're talking about. Like, no, when they said the first time they said producer, they explained what the producer was. When they said what the director does, what the writer does, like they explained all of those things. The only thing I wish they would have explained more, once they started filming, there was so many people who helped put that together. So Danny, for example, talk to us more about what it means to be a first assistant director.
Mhm.
I would have liked to hear, more from him about, specifically what he does, and just other roles and stuff that they had.
Yeah, I definitely get where you're coming from on that one. Like, yeah, for other reasons, as we know, like they only
Mhm.
had so much that they could probably show
Yeah.
when it comes to to other aspects of other production. But yeah, I agree. I fell in love with the concept when I watched the previous season that I think was done like way before the pandemic, probably between 2017, 2018, maybe. I have to go back and look. And I mean, I was just in awe. I was like, just really like, man, this is just so dope. Cause I do feel like it's a really dope show to put out there, especially for aspiring filmmakers and those of filmmakers who haven't produced anything yet. To those who have made, smaller budget films, to like the free things and all this stuff like that to make things happen, to just see how those things get done. Because I do feel like a lot of times when speaking for, experience being being an independent filmmaker, I do feel like at times that it can be intimidating and can cause imposter syndrome when you are
Hmm.
producing things, when you are getting feedback on things and it's so good, or you get good constructive criticism and you're growing, but it's just like, but am I on that level though? And I
Hmm.
feel like that show kind of breaks the wall down from you wondering if you are to seeing how things mostly play out, especially if you're a
Hmm.
director, and be like, okay, if you feel comfortable with this, then you should be good.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, I really love that. I know we previously was talking a little bit, and I was like, yeah, we should talk about this in the episode. We was talking about the process of them selecting the actor, and one thing, and I do agree with you. I definitely could see, Mia like really doing a great job, and I completely understood where the executives on HBO side were talking about when it came to the experience that they want to provide. I felt like the other actor who did a really great job during
Mm-hmm.
the audition, I'm forgetting her name right now, but the thing with Mia that I think was what they were actually able to get out of her, and I would have pursued that too, is that you were able to get a different youthful experience with Mia. You
I
know,
agree.
having Mia in it, she felt younger. She felt that she could easily be her character could be easily naive about things and
Mm-hmm.
hard headed and all those things like that and curious about things as opposed to the other one. I feel like she definitely would have did a great job, and I could definitely see so many similarities between her and the one who played the mother to where they could have played with that as well. But I think it's all about the vision, and if you wanted someone
Mm-hmm.
bring more of a true child or younger child of the mother aspect, and just and she did, you can kind of tell here and there when they did like another read or whatever with her, that's like her mannerisms and how she responded to things, really you can definitely tell she did a good job of saying or doing the right things as a certain tone that like in real life we know that would really tick off a parent,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just
Mm-hmm.
responding. So,
Yeah.
so
And like when the executives were like, we want to see a different scene. I think that that's what really made the difference.
mhm,
Because the scene that they auditioned with, I think it was the one where it was the argument
mhm,
with the mom.
mhm.
And so the girl that the Miko, the director, was like really, really set on, it it made sense why she was like, oh, she's the one. But like you said, Mia brought a different child, like she really brought out the being naive and stuff that was really predominant pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah,
And
truthfully.
so I see why the executives, them have read the script already, probably kind of felt that. Like I think Mia would be able to bring this that's going in the script more so than the other young lady who, like you said, she was great as well. I mean, I think the film would have been good with either one of them, but I mean, I stand by them picking Mia.
Yeah, yeah, and she did a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing, what she has next when it comes to opportunities in front of the screen. The whole entire cast pretty much did a really great job with the time constraints. I mean, the fact that they filmed this in 18 days, um,
Mm-hmm.
is amazing to me. I know I listen to the podcast, which if you want to hear more, like if you listen to this now and you watch Project Greenlight and you want to know more about the experience, um, Catch a Break podcast actually has a few episodes that talks with everybody behind the scenes and maybe in front of the scenes as well. I haven't been able to finish the whole season, so I definitely want to plug that in. But yeah, like it was very interesting just how things played out, and um I ain't gonna lie, man, I was fanning out like every time Gina Prince Bythewood came on screen. I was like, oh my gosh, like because I'm a super big, if anybody
Yeah.
knows me, I'm a super big fan of her work. Again, if you haven't caught other past episodes, I brought her up. She did uh
Love and
Love and
basketball,
Basketball,
the woman
Woman
king.
King, which she was finishing up during Project Greenlight, and then
Mm-hmm.
she's also done Beyond the Lights, which is one of my top favorites, and then Old Guard, which is a really really dope action film that I really don't feel like got a lot of attention initially, but it is a Netflix original and is super good.
It's really good.
And a great cast and a great score, which is why I really love her work, because whoever her team is, or if it's something that she makes sure she specializes in, she always has a really great score with her and soundtrack with her projects. So yeah, yeah. Um, Before we move on, Blaze, did you have any other thoughts or anything towards like Gray Matter or Project Greenlight before we jump on into They Clone Tyrone?
I forgot to mention, I liked too that we got to see each stage of a
Mm,
film. So pre-production, well, development, pre-production, production, and then post-development, because I feel like we'll see, come in audience, we see articles and stuff that be like, this show or this movie is filming now, and then we like, wait a minute, what that show filming? It ain't dropped yet. And it's
yeah.
because the post-production, it may take time, they
Mhm.
they still editing. They got to do what they got to do to make sure that the project looks good, because oftentimes directors um they don't film things in order, because
Right.
they mention like it's based off like when you can get the location. If we can get the location for the end of the movie only at the start of production, well, we're gonna film the end. We're gonna film the end first. you know.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. I really love the one, and I add this in before we move forward. One thing I will say that I did not know about with the DGA is that, the director has up to, I believe they said maybe 10 weeks to
hmm
edit and just have their long time with it. And I love that. I love that
That's cool.
aspect.
Yeah.
To
The
just be,
director's cut. Yeah.
yeah, to get your director's cut, but just have, and I know it sounds weird probably to other folks, but just really to have that intimate moment to look back at what your work has been like and just, take your time with it, bring out what you think is going to work and stuff like that and go through it. So, but I thought that was really dope to add
hmm
in. So, but yeah, but it's time for They Clone Tyrone. Um,
Oh, actually,
oh,
one more thing before we get to that clone. I would like for a season. I haven't watched, this was my first season, but I would like for them to do a season where they bring in people, maybe director, writer, I don't know, but somebody who has like their own script, and they kind of pitch that to the
mm,
studio, to, Max or whatever, and they pick one and they fund that particular um project. I think that would be dope. Not that anything's wrong with doing somebody else's work, but I think that would be dope for to see them do it. It'll be different from like the previous seasons.
right, right. Yeah, that'd be really dope. I wonder if the reason why they've been slow to do something like that because of possibly having an issue of whatever they feel like they want to put notes on when it comes to somebody's personal project. Will they be open to changing up things and not be so attached to whatever they've done and be
Mm-hmm.
detached enough to where they allow it to be as the best as be the best version they can be based on the feedback, or it may just ultimately have to change based on funding. So
I mean,
um
but they could make that a part of like the audition process, like how the first episode of Project Greenlight was them bringing in their top picks, and then they had to um take a bit of the script and film it. Maybe that could be a part of the process where like they pick their top picks, and here are our notes that we made based off your script. Go and improve it and film and direct, put together one scene.
mhm.
And that could be a part of it.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, that would be dope. I mean, speaking as a writer director, and I feel like more and more there are more and more writer directors out there instead of those who just want to direct or just want to write. Just in the space now that we're in of holding on to creativity and all this stuff like that. And I will pause to say, just want to give acknowledgement and shout out to those who are actively, striking right now when it comes to the writers and the actors.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate what is going on, and I really do hope that it gets better. I know there's been different talks for different platforms from influencers and those who have podcasts and stuff about helping with support. And we're definitely talking about these things just because of those who are behind the scenes, and also the actors as well who make these things happen. We do want to acknowledge that this is definitely who we're celebrating, and this is not in a sense to make sure that we really make it, it's eager for you to just hurry up and go support individuals who are like go online and make sure that you're rushing to go on all these platforms and stuff like that. Like, of course, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna passively keep on watching, and I feel like other people will as well. But I think it's even more important that we highlight the actors and the writers who are part of these projects, who did an outstanding, who do really great work and should be supported and paid for that, and stuff. And so, and that seamlessly helps us transition into They Clone Tyrone. Blaze, John Boyega,
Yes, yes.
Fox, and Tayana Paris.
Yeah. Amazing trio.
Great job. Great freaking job. Wasn't too surprised about what Jamie brought to the table because I feel like he was kind of digging back into his old roots, you know, saying with the Jamie Foxx show to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And Tayana, I've seen her in many projects. So I really will say I was surprised to see her in a passive, like serious slash humorous role because I haven't seen her in that. And she did a great job with bouncing off of Jamie Foxx.
Mm-hmm.
But John, that man transformed
Mm-hmm.
into his freaking character. So amazing. I don't know if it was just me, but I was just really caught off guard by how much, like, it's one thing to embody a certain character, especially if it's a part of a certain culture, but I really feel like he just, like, from the dialect to the mannerisms, like, truly believable. Like, I would have thought that the brother definitely was from America in, you know, either
Yeah, I
Arkansas.
always forget that he is
Yeah,
British.
yes. And homeboy toe it up. Homeboy truly toe it up, you know, and shout out to the rest of the cast. And I will say also Jewel Taylor is the writer and director of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the writing of this, I really want to give credit to, you know, especially when it
Yes.
to the little tidbits that they popped in here and there. So Blaze, like, what were some things along with the little gems that was dropped in there? What were some things that really stood out to you? And it was like, okay, I see where you coming from. I got you.
um, man, it was so much. It's like the little things that turned into big things. Like I sent you that one video where he talked about the Easter eggs, and the
Mhm.
one that like I didn't notice until I saw that video was like they saw a girl at the convenience store, and then we started seeing those missing signs. And then when Yo-Yo got captured, there go the missing girl. And it was like it's all coming together. And so I really enjoyed like those very small elements of the show or of the movie, but also them taking very stereotypical elements about Black people and using them to tell this story. Like, you know, the perm, the chemical in the perm and the chicken and the communion juice. Like
Mhm.
that was so clever to take, you know, those stereotypical things and say like these are the things that you know they're using essentially to like control the people in this community. I love the overall plot or the overall message is that um we are, or to some people we are a clone or an architect, a character somewhere in this universe, in this country. You know, there's a Corgan somewhere in Memphis. There's a
Mhm.
Blaze somewhere in Memphis. You know, we may not obviously look alike and stuff, but we serve the same purpose.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's true. Like that
Yeah.
is true. And then even when you think about like the more negative black stereotypes that people have, unfortunately, they are true. You know,
Yeah.
there's gang leaders everywhere.
Mhm.
There are
Mhm.
drug lords everywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And so as science fiction as this may be, it's also doing what all art does, and that's, you know, imitating life.
Yeah. One thing that came to mind, um, especially with the main character. when he found out he was cloned and stuff like that, is that one time this guy, he was working, I think, on the mental health side with youth, and it was back when I was working at the institution that you at now, and I was working at the high school. And he mentioned he had a thought that he shared with me. He said, "Man, at the end of the day, when it comes to society, everybody got to replace somebody."
Yep. Everybody got a role to play.
And it's like, and he was saying it not in a positive way, but in the negative spaces. It's just like it's always going to be somebody in this role, that role. Like it's constantly
Mm-hmm.
people going to be replaced to either uh
Mm.
it stops, or the circle of the same circle that a family, they say is the family curses, keep on going until somebody breaks that. It's going to always be a cycle, and everybody's going to play their role. And the moment that you're not playing that role, then that is an issue, and I wonder if that is also like a hidden theme within the space of like you're only a problem to their agenda when you're not being the type of Black person that they need you to be
Mm-hmm.
for
I'm
their
happy you said that
profit.
because that
Yeah.
made me think about the new Spider-Verse.
Hmm.
The whole canon. Spider-Man has a canon. Everybody needs to follow it. Well,
Yeah.
Miles didn't want to follow that. He's like, no, my daddy not dying. So now
Right.
he's a problem. Now he's the
Yes.
villain because he's not following the canon. So you're right. Like we're
Yes.
only a problem if we're not the type of person, type of Black people that people want us to be.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know, did you catch the part where they was in the car? I think this was the first time they was going to the house, I think. I think this is after he had came back. Well, after this, well, it was the second clone of himself. And a song came on, and I think Jamie Foxx's character was like, "Oh man, I can't stand the song," or whatever. He's like, "Every time this song come on, I get sleepy." Did you catch that? And all of them yawn.
No, I didn't.
So basically, yeah, like so it was like when they was riding, he's like every time this song come on, I just yawn. And I don't know if all three of them did or what, but I'm like, that was so freaking slick. Cause it's
Mm-hmm.
like you're basically saying that the music that is put out publicly and blasted or whatever like that is it manipulates, it's basically it puts you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
not woke music. You know what I'm saying, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah, that's a
And
smart
so,
idea.
man, so when they did that, it was funny, and so I was even more tripped out when they incorporated when they came out into the club or whatever.
Yeah, when they came out into the club, that reminded me like I don't know if you would be high school or if you were in college at this point, but like when people were really on the Illuminati kick and they
Oh
was
yeah,
like, this song is got this in it. Like
uh,
that's what that part reminded me of.
yeah. When you play it backwards, you'll be able to hear.
Hmm.
I ain't gonna lie. When people talk about that, it's kind of creep me out too.
I'm
But
like,
anyway,
I'm just gonna ignore you guys because no,
yeah,
I
like
serve a
play it back.
God. I serve a
Like,
God who don't have me playing music back because I'm not trying to listen to no devil stuff.
yeah, man. So yeah, like so, and I really do feel like that also it's one of those things of like sometimes something that sounds outrageous to us and what we feel like is going on in our Black communities or with our experiences, like just because it doesn't happen to you doesn't mean that you should just disregard it and just think that it's not affecting us in some type of way. And I feel like that is another thing, like even though some things that were shared or whatever is kind of stretched or whatever, but it's sometimes some things are true and you have to hear people out until
Mm-hmm.
some of the evidence just not there. And it's not that they crazy or nothing like that. You just gotta give them their space there if they want to keep on believing and do that. But I do think the whole play on what the outside people would think, oh, it's just a conspiracy theory and stuff like that. It's just sometimes it ain't a conspiracy. It's a truth to it somewhere. And I really just love just being willing to even play with that idea as well. I think that was something that was very unique to go about or whatever. And they showed they tail by playing the dang song at the church.
Oh my gosh. I was like, no, not in the church, y'all. We can't do this.
Yes, because I was just like, is that what I think it is?
It is what you think it is.
I was sitting there like, hold on, let it come through. I said, oh my gosh. Then
I
it's like,
just saw the one lady in the church who started twerking. I was like, not in the
yes.
church.
Oh my gosh, man. So yeah, like it was really dope. It was a very bold film. I saw some people on socials talking about they were surprised it was made and stuff like that or whatever, which I feel like we're in a creative space now, especially if it's a independent film, because I don't think I think it was independently made with macro films, and then as a smaller budget film, maybe, even though I didn't feel like it, and then maybe, Netflix bought it or whatever like that. I haven't looked at the research of it, but I don't think it was originally produced by
I know it
Netflix.
originally premiered at the American Black Film Festival.
Yes, yes. But I can't remember if not. But either way, I think we're in this space now. If they know, sometimes I do feel like Hollywood take a chance on projects that may be very specific. But depending on how big of the world that it creates, that I feel like that's when you can probably pick things up, and even though it was very specific to a community and stuff like that, it definitely, I feel like, resonated with a lot of people in the Black community, and just overall it was just very entertaining, and the actors outside of just even the main cast did a really great job with supporting it as well and stuff like that.
I will
um
say my experience watching it, like
mhm,
as I was watching it, it reminded me of a book um, I have read. It's called When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. And
mhm,
that book is essentially about it's about gentrification, essentially. But the way it's told, it's like a thriller. It's this neighborhood, and people just kind of start going missing. And this
mhm,
one girl is like, she notices things are happening, but
yeah,
I want to say it's been a while since I read the book, but I want to say she was drinking a lot. And so she really wasn't sure, like, am
mhm,
I drunk, or is this, or is stuff really going on?
yeah,
And, eventually she finds out, what's going on. But as I was watching the movie, I was like, this reminds me of that book a lot.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I based on what you said, I mean, it's definitely up there when it comes to really like digging deep. I feel like into the psyche of folks, like really like, just really sitting back and thinking like, like
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
just our stereotypes. Like people be knowing what our stereotypes are. Like they know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I mean,
And
really great writing.
I'm happy you mentioned like the psyche and stuff, because I watched it one day and my brother watched it the next day. And after he finished watching it, we had like an hour and a half conversation about it. And we talked about how like a lot of movies and shows, they try to make these messages, and oftentimes they go over people's heads with
Hmm.
those messages. And this movie, it didn't do that. Like, it was so well written. It's well written enough for everybody to understand exactly what they're trying to get across.
Oh yeah.
And it's written us in a smart way, but in a way for us all to understand. It takes those stereotypes and then it puts it with this message.
Hmm.
Like it was like who was the writer again? Jewel Taylor.
Yeah.
Um he didn't try so hard to try and get this message across. It was a
Right.
very natural. Like before my brother watched it, he asked me what I thought about it, and I was like, it just felt very real.
Hmm.
It felt very real. And the moment that
Very
I
grounded. Yeah.
very grounded, and the moment that I gave like an example was when Fonte realized he was a clone, and he was like, he ain't me. Like
Yeah.
that's exactly how we all would act. And if we saw
Yeah.
a clone, we'd be like, I don't
Yeah.
know what this is, but I'm me,
No, like definitely. Like I think that's the reason why I would not be surprised if views wise it's doing very good, and I feel like it's been trending as much because it was easy to keep up with. Everything was straightforward. Basically, and I feel like it was kudos to the writer because I do feel like it's and director because well he done both, but it's like it's just I feel like the concept of it could have been easily over a lot of people's heads,
Yep.
or you could have been spending too much explaining instead of showing.
And that's what I
That's
was afraid of.
yeah,
But as
yeah,
soon as like the movie started picking up, I was like, they did it. They wrote this perfectly.
yeah. Like they show more than they got too caught up with telling, and I feel like that's what made it so
Mhm.
enjoyable. But then also with it being so grounded, it was easy to get what was going on based on what I was seeing. So it was almost like we were experiencing uh what the main characters was experiencing at the same time. Like we were seeing it as
Yes, yes.
saying,
And I don't know if
yeah,
you've seen the blackening yet, but the
mm-mm,
black it reminded me of my experience of watching the blackening. Like you just said, it felt like we was going on this journey with them because the way they reacted and the way they act, that's exactly how we know people in our life would act. You
yeah,
know, suddenly black people turn into detectives.
yeah,
Like, wait a
yeah,
minute, y'all, because this and this, we do that.
mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm,
do that. One of my favorite parts of the movie was how everybody at the end came together to overthrow the lab and stuff. Like that was the most coolest thing ever. Like they came with this bizarre story, like, hey, they got clones, y'all. They got clones. They ain't got clones of me. You know, let's
right,
let's let me go see what this is about. Like that was my favorite part when they all showed up at the was it a gas station or convenience store
yeah,
to get there, or like how they made that whole elaborate plot to
mm-hmm,
switch Fonte for a clone and all. Like that was my favorite part, and obviously the end too was my favorite because
mm-hmm.
like I was thinking the whole time, who is Tyrone?
Right,
Who's
right, right,
Tyrone? And then the ending, hey, that didn't clone Tyrone.
right, right. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it made me wonder, like, dang, are they gonna do a part two and part three? Which I
I
mean,
don't
I
think
feel
they
like,
are.
yeah, I feel like it's a one and done thing, just because I think it was an independent project. I mean, who knows?
Nah,
Um,
I think the end was just trying to hit the message on the head of like there
yeah,
is, even though clones aren't real, there's
yeah.
a somebody somewhere else is playing the same role as you. They're the same character as you, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from. That, yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall great film. If you haven't checked it out, definitely supporting the actors and the writer and director and the rest of the team behind the scenes who made this project possible. I highly recommend it. It was a really dope project. I definitely think it kind of gives me the same vibe as like Nope. Like it's definitely rewatchable. And just something to just take in and enjoy just because of the experience. Because it's a very great experience just to enjoy. Especially with a good group of friends and stuff like that to just have a good time with and stuff like that. So,
And it's
Blaze, do you have
always
any?
nice
Oh,
to see. I would say it's always nice to see black creators being able to do stuff that's kind of outside of the box.
yeah.
And so I really, really enjoyed that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm definitely looking forward to see what this filmmaker has coming up next. I didn't get to look up some of his stuff too much before we started, but I do feel like he has a very, very bright future as long as he has the right team to support him to bring his visions to life. So, but yeah, well, that's all I got for this episode, Blaze. Do you got anything else?
Um, no, I don't think I have anything else. This movie was filmed, it started filming in November of 2020 and they wrapped in April of 2021. So thinking back to like Project Greenlight, how they had 18 days to film,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. Exactly. And with those type of actors, because have you seen what is what is that? Gosh, I am not remembering any One Division. Have you seen that?
One Division. I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get off of this episode. Blaze, lack of keeping up with Marvel episodes has
It's not a lack of keeping up per se. It's more of just a lack of interest.
a lack of effort. But anyway,
Interest.
we're
I see
gonna
why.
just keep on going and stuff like that. But anyway, I hope you have a great rest of the day or night, whenever time that you're watching this. But other than that, y'all have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.